Hey everybody, welcome back to the forge. So today is part 2 of the Damascus skinning knife. We're going to work on doing the bevels. I already did a test bevel on this side just to kind of see what the bevel is going to look like and see if I actually liked it before I got on camera. I kind of like the way the bevel's coming out. It's a really thinned out edge, which is really nice. It's going to be coming down to almost a razor edge, which is really good. In this video, we're going to do the bevel on the second side. We're going to do our heat treating, drilling pinholes, and handling and hand sanding, stuff like that. So there's probably going to be a 3-part video, but like I said, got the beveling done on this side. I kind of started on this side, but I didn't really get into it. I wanted to make sure I got that on film and kind of show you how I do that. And then just finish work right here in this handle area. I really like, I didn't think I was gonna like this second bump, but I do. So we're gonna go ahead and hop in. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the rest of the video. So I kind of wanted to show you how I do my bevels. So as you can see on this side, how thinned out it is and how far up it goes to the top. So I start with my primary bevel, just getting the edge thinned down and kind of towards the final dimension. And then what I do is I go in and I end up putting the knife just like that. So you see the gap between the edge and the primary bevel, and I just run that along there until that gives me this secondary bevel right here. And I just let that secondary bevel build up until it reaches the primary bevel and the grind line that I want. So primarily we want it to reach about the same point on each side and give us the same kind of downward slope here. I've had a lot of trouble getting this line to be the same on each side. I think it just comes more with practice, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and start on our secondary bevel and get that worked out, and y'all see a little bit of that and how I do that. So we got the bevels done. I actually brought this side back up into the spine more when I finished this side. I just thought it kind of looked better. So I brought it up into the spine a little more, and they're not absolutely perfect, but a lot of that gets taken out and fixed in the hand sanding portion of this, so I'm not really worried about that. So next, we're actually gonna go over to the forge in the next shop and do a quick heat treat on this and get this quenched and leave this kind of a lower temperature and hope we don't catch any warps. We'll do a couple normalizing cycles and then go in for the quench so that we de-stress the blade, and I'll explain a little bit more about that when we get over there. So we're in the other shop. I've got the forge on a really low, nice reducing heat. That way we're not causing a bunch of scale when we go in for the quench. So what we do on our normalizing cycles is I do about 3 of them. That kind of just takes that crystalline structure and loosens it up before you get in the quench, so you don't have any spots where you're going to end up having to crack or where you end up having a really bad warp. Hopefully, a lot of the times you can get out of a quench without having a warp, but you know, sometimes it just happens no matter what you do. So I'm going to do 3 normalizing cycles, and I'm going to get all of that out of the way, and then I'm going to put it back in. And since this is a 1084 and 15 and 20, which is a high carbon and a high nickel, I'm actually not going to quench as hot as I would like a 52100 or a 5160. I'm going to do that dull red color like I was talking about in my first video. I'm going to do a dull red color, that way I don't end up with a too hot. I don't end up too hot and end up putting more stress on the blade when I go in for the quench. So we're gonna get to putting that in the fire. We'll let the forge warm up for a little bit, and then we'll show you that quench. So we just went into the forge, as you can see. So we're gonna let this get to a dull red color, maybe a little bit higher, I'm not too sure. I think I may let it get just a little bit higher on this first normalizing cycle, and then the rest of them I'm gonna pull out kind of early. But it looks really, really good. I'm not seeing any bending or warping. I like to kind of let them sit upright. I don't like to let them sit on their side. I really like to kind of paint the flame on or put it inside that tube, but that tube is completely just gone away, as you can see. So I like to set it up as straight as I can. I don't like to lean it on things. That's usually how your metal starts to do more of a bend, put a banana in it. So I think this looks really good. I think we're gonna be in a good position to quench here in about 15 minutes. So I'll let you watch the quench, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do these normalizing cycles. So this came out of the third normalizing cycle. We're finished. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna paint the flame onto this blade. That way we get a real nice even heat. I'm going to keep it upright in the forge just like this, and if I have to I'll flip it over, but you never want to leave it on its side. That's where you get the droop or the warp, because that metal is getting heated and wanting to pull itself down. So you want to definitely keep it upright. If you have to flip, just go straight over and stay upright. So we're going to paint the flame, and then we're going to go into the quench. This is just used motor oil and a couple other things. It's nothing special, but it gets the job done. You can use almost any oil, so it's not something that you have to have that you buy from the store. It can be used motor oil, it can be used hydraulic fluid, it can be peanut oil, it can be vegetable oil, or it can be Parks 50. You know, it's kind of up to your own discretion there. So we're going to paint this flame on. Like I said, you want to keep it nice and even. Keep it nice and even, keep it nice and straight. Keep it off the bottom of the forge floor. Give it a turn. You don't want to heat one side more than the other, so just try and keep it pretty even. Back and forth. This is going to help you, definitely help you in the quench to keep things nice and straight. And like I said on mine, in one of my videos before, I like to use the natural heat from the blade, from the handle, to go ahead and give that blade a temper. So I'm going to keep that heat in the handle, and I'm also going to let it temper itself. We go into the quench, that nice dull red color, all the way down in. You don't want to shake back and forth. You don't want to shake from side to side. You want to go back and forth with the blade edge and the spine. You can sometimes catch a warp if you go side to side. I've noticed that. So we're going to pull it out. We look really, really straight. We look really, really good. Definitely kind of see that pattern come through. I don't think you can see it on camera, but I can see the martensite layer. I can see all of the pattern where it quenched really well. So we've quenched all the way down to the blade edge. Now our spine up towards the top here is a little bit softer, but I'm okay with that. A soft spine is not going to hurt us. It's actually going to give us a little bit more flex, which is really good. So like I said, I'm just going to let this cool naturally until I feel like we've got a good temper. I'll watch the temper colors on this blade, but overall, very successful quench. I'm going to get it back over to the shop, lock it in the vise, and then I'll bring you along for the next part of the knife build. So you can see it a lot better over here. You can see our martensite layer that is formed all the way along from the back of the blade all the way down to the front, and then you can see our dark down here. That's where our quench was a little bit too low, but At the same time, that's a good thing because now our spine up to right about here is nice and soft. So that's gonna give us some cushion room when we go in, like when we go in for like chopping or anything like that. If this knife is used for chopping or anything, we're not gonna risk snapping a blade or having any major damage because that spine is soft. So overall, looks really, really good. We are nice and straight, which is awesome. That edge may have a little bit of a wobble to it, but that's not, actually I don't really think it does. It looks really straight. So the camera usually brings out more of the bent edge, but this looks really, really good. I'm really impressed with this. I'm really loving the pattern so far. It looks really good. So we're gonna go ahead and let this cool, let this temper on its own. This blade is still really, really hot where the handle is because it didn't go into the quench. So all of that heat is transferring not just through the knife, it's also going through the vise, which is good because we don't put all that heat into the knife and lose our good hardness, but we also put enough in there to temper it down to a lower Rockwell level. So this is really good. I'm really impressed, and I'll bring you back when this is cooled off and we're ready to start the next portion of this knife. So it's nice and cool. You can really see that pattern showing up through there. It doesn't really look like I wanted it to. Like I said, I think my layer count was a little low, and I probably should have cut and stacked it a couple more times, but that's okay. It still looks really good. So we're gonna go ahead and do a hand sand on this. That's probably where I'm gonna end it for tonight, and you'll get the rest tomorrow. So enjoy the hand sanding montage. What'll be 30 seconds for you will probably be about an hour and a half for me. So enjoy. So we finished up hand sanding. To kind of give you some perspective, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I started hand sanding at about 12, right on the dot. So an hour of hand sanding on something this small. I'm up to 400 grit, so I got all those 120 and 180 scratches out of it. It looks really good. A lot of people when they etch, they go up to like 800 or 600. I don't really think you have to do that. I think you can honestly go to a 400 grit and it not really matter. So I think I'm gonna end the video here for this. I know it was kind of short. Not a lot went on in this video, but like I said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I need to get another video out. It may not be the longest or the most content, but it does show a lot of the process of what finishing a knife really looks like. So if you'll come back tomorrow, I'll go ahead and I'll do the pinholes and the handle and then the etch and the final edge, and that'll all be in the final video, and you can kind of see the final reveal of how this knife turns out. So thank you all for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Let me know if you know of any sandpapers that are better to hand sand with. But thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you later.